I need a motion to approve the minutes of the October 24th, 2020 meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Mr. Wild, Mr. Stroud on a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed. Okay, we're gonna open it again for the floor, public comments. Yes. Would you get up to the speaker, please, so we all can give you a name and
Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Coles. I'm here representing the Courtyard by Marriott and some of the business community today. Just wanted to thank everybody for moving forward with these meetings this morning, despite the, some say shocking, some say surprising staffing changes last week with the resignation of Mr. Snow. The continued dedication and efforts by the committees and the tourism department is commendable and greatly appreciated by the community. You know, it is a driving force in our economy, so we really are here to help support what's going on. There are so many super folks here in the tourism industry that are committed to helping the county and the tourism department move forward with all the challenges, both short-term and long-term. So many of us have thought, we had a couple conversations last week, that one way we might be able to assist short-term might be something similar to helping form a business work group, such as was done during COVID. And we worked with the tourism departments at that time. We've been more than happy for the business community to help do some of that again this time around now with the challenges that we know that you all are facing. You know, for example, you've got immediate tasks such as maximizing the $125,000 investment in the upcoming Winter Games that was just made, finalizing and improving the first and second quarter 2023 campaigns with the renewed AdWorks contract is coming up. Launching and distributing the annual marketing pieces. There's a lot to be done. We know that. You know, we just want you all to know that the business community is here to help in any way that we can, because it is such a vital part of the community and the economic engine driving this whole county and the region. So I just wanted to come today and make sure you were aware that there are people out here who care in the community and in the business communities who will help you guys do whatever we can to make this successful going forward as you work your way through some of these transitions. Thank you.
thank you very much for your comments. They're well appreciated. Anyone else? All right, well, we have a quick agenda here, so let's move into. Wanna
We
bring us up
just,
on what?
we've got actually a couple resolutions. One just came to light after Paul put together these agendas. Basically, we need to transfer some 18,500 out of regular salaries into overtime and into part-time. And basically that's because I left my full-time position, went part-time, and the girls in our office have been doing a lot of social media. So they've been out of the office doing a lot of videos and so forth. So that's the first resolution request.
All right, let's any discussion on that first resolution? It's $18,500. We're moving it from a couple of places. I can give you.
I'll make that motion to bring it to the floor, Mr. Chairman.
All right, do I get a second, Mr. Stroud? Okay, it's to the floor right now to the our committee. Any discussion and any questions on it? Seeing none, I'll call for a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, it's passed. What's the
Okay,
second one?
yeah, so we have a second resolution. Basically, it's to amend Resolution 410 of 2022. New York State has asked us to remove a name of the project director. We made Paul the project director. He would still be acting as project director. However, they didn't want the name specifically in the resolution. And they did ask us to just edit one line of it, saying that we would be applying for Empire State Development of matching funds starting in 2023. And we'd be doing it on an annual basis without further need of a resolution. So it's just tweaking that resolution 410 of 2022. We did just receive a letter approving our application, the first application for matching funds. So we'll be getting 56,157
All right, so
in matching
we
funds.
just need a motion to accept that and not put a
To
person's
edit.
name to edit.
Right,
to
edit
fill in
the
blank.
resolution.
Motion,
Yes, Mr. Wild,
make the motion.
make the motion. Do I have a second? Ms. Runyon? All right, any questions? Yes,
Now that we got Paula,
hold on a minute, I got a hand up there.
we got money.
Ms.
Thank you,
Brandon?
Chairman. Could you please read the title of 410? I don't recall what that was about. You're saying it's ESD applications for programs?
I've got actually made some copies here, so I'll just pass them.
Sorry.
John.
Do you need any out there? This is when we put Paul on.
Pardon me?
This is when we put
Yes,
Paul.
yeah.
And this
It's
is,
just tweaking it.
this is just tweaking. We had put Paul on when Joanne left us.
to the-
So we had somebody at the federal government, state government, I should say, knowing that we're still in business and still applying for these grants, and they sent a letter that we did, they accepted our grant. We're just leaving Paul on there right now. That's basically what we're doing until further notice. So, is that all right? We're Raymond?
Thank you. I appreciate the copies and understanding.
All
We
right,
were taking Paul's name off.
We're taking Paul's name off and just adding that little snippet right there.
they don't want a name on there right now. All right, everybody understand? All in favor? We did that already, right? We made a motion.
No, we didn't
second.
vote.
All right, voice vote, everybody in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passed, okay. That's the two we have. We have no other discussion on this, we have no referrals. We keep going back to privilege of the floor. Audit board, go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. You know, it was mentioned briefly by a member of the public, and I'd like the committee to have some sort of discussion about the resignation that happened last week and some of the information that was included from our prior tourism director. It sounds like there was significant information that was provided from Mr. Snow with some analytical data and analysis about a particular contract that we just approved on Friday, which to me is very concerning that we were not provided that information ahead of time. But in any event, the contract, is my understanding, doesn't start until 2023. So I think we have some time to look at what he has put in there. You know, we need an opportunity to talk to our partners as well, because maybe he's not analyzing it correctly and understanding better what we should be doing going forward. I mean, this is one of the things I've talked about in tourism, and I know I'm not on OCTAX, but trying to use that money in a holistic way to impact and improve the entire county's tourism situation, and not be putting it into little tiny buckets of money, or as we've talked about before, having a cookie jar that someone can just reach into. Really doing the best that we can with this money.
Okay.
So, yep.
Well, let me move it to the acting administrator. He'll answer some of your questions.
Mr. Chairman, I just asked for clarification. What resolution are we talking about?
We're not talking about any resolution.
I thought the prior speaker
No,
mentioned this.
it's open to the,
The resolution that was passed on Friday by the Board of Supervisors.
Which one?
oh, that's the CVB board one.
Yes.
Oh, all right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There were two letters, two attachments that were referenced at the board meeting on Friday. And we've gone back and forth between the county attorney purchasing department and county administrator's office. I've just to make sure that everything is good and clear and protecting the interest of the county while maintaining transparency. I have those printed out and I can hand them out to the committee here.
Right.
I would recommend
Yeah.
that they not be handed out at the committee because open meeting law applies during our meeting.
Ah.
So at the end of the meeting, you could hand them out, or you could adjourn the meeting and then re-adjourn. But you hand them out during the course of the meeting, I believe open meetings law requires them to be provided to the public as well.
Okay.
And I apologize, I didn't anticipate that. That was off the top of my head. Because I didn't know they were going to go out in paper form
Yeah,
until just now.
yeah, they've been sent out electronically, so. So, yes. Well,
Thanks, acting administrator. Keep forgetting the chairman's attention. Just, I'm not asking for them to be put out in the public right now. I am asking for the supervisors to be provided the attachments so that we can take a look at them too. I mean, maybe we will not agree with them, but my understanding is that there's significant information in there, critical information. I'm not saying criticisms, I'm saying critical to our decision making that we didn't have prior to approving the contract for the CVB. So I'd like to put a motion forward that we either put on pause the distribution of the funds to the CVB until we have a chance to look at the information.
How do you do
Yeah,
it?
Typically, the
and
Board of
discuss it.
Supervisors has already acted on that.
Right.
I don't know that this committee can. I mean, you guys can certainly do any resolution you want, but there's a resolution that passed on Friday. And I can tell there's been no contract prepared by my office at this point. That's something that has to happen this week or next week. I think there were some issues or questions regarding what the contract status was, and I have not started drafting the contract for this coming year.
Okay, my question then, all the resignation letter and a few of the attachments we can give out after this meeting to the board or our other supervisor. And I think we still have time, early December maybe, to have another tourism meeting. And so everybody has a chance to look at it, to make decisions instead of just fly by night canceling things. Because the contract's not made, it's not signed yet. It's in the works. I think it'd be better that people maybe look at some of the stuff that's here and we can work it out. Just a while.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm a little confused. I think I heard our acting administrator say that he already emailed these out to everyone.
I did.
And
You already
if that
did?
is spoilable then? If they're emailed out to all of us? No?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I
this-
haven't given a real, a final determination because there has been no FOIL request for the attachment. When that FOIL request comes in, there's some factors we will look at.
Is there, if I may, is there a risk to letting the public see this?
Everything's risk. I don't know how to answer that.
Obviously,
question.
we have some egg on our face, right? We lost our tourism director that we hired a month or so ago. But if there's information that some people deem critical, is it going to be us to decide whether or not this gets released or not? To me, with Ms. Cole's offer for support, I think we'd like to hear from the business community on all these things also. So my suggestion would be that let's let it out.
All right, you let out all of it? So it's,
What I was asked to look at when I addressed
just those two.
is what, if any, impediment is there for giving the lease to the boards? And the board has no rules, regs, resolutions, policy on how, when, or why, or what a supervisor is entitled to obtain and receive. It seems to be an issue that repeats itself over and over again. My broader hope is that at some point, the county and the board will work on a policy that addresses access to county records for members of the Board of Supervisors, but we don't have any such policy in place today. To the degree that the documents being provided to members of the Board of Supervisors, that's not a FOIL response. And if there's a FOIL request, there's specific rules that apply. If anything, is the county is able to withhold. It doesn't mean they have to withhold it, but there's obviously certain areas where the county could make a determination to the regular access officer to withhold particular types of information for specific reasons under the statute. But what I think what's being addressed here today is, can the members of the Board of Supervisors get a copy? And the answer is yes. But the hope is that they receive that and maintain it. For the county record.
Any other questions?
Just like the
Yeah.
resignation letter that I sent out to the Board of Supervisors last week, that went right to the papers, but yeah.
So just for clarity, your recommendation is that these are not something that should be released, that should be held in confidence.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a county record, just like any other county. record.
Ms. Bramer,
Well, I understand that, and I don't really want to get into an argument about these are county records are public documents. We serve the public. These are public funds, it's public taxpayer dollars. Most of what we have goes right up on our website. So I don't know what's in there. I don't know if there's some, confidential, what's it called, business proprietary information about something. We haven't seen them, so I don't know that. But I would like to have the committee consider the motion that I was trying to put forward, unless from you, Chairman, we have a commitment that we're going to meet after we get to see these documents before the new year,
yes, I'd like to do that, definitely. Once
because we
everybody-
don't have committee meetings next month.
You already got the resignation letter, and now today, sometime it's out, you sent it already. It's out. If you look in your email boxes, you'll probably see it, but it's in there. So after everybody digest that, and after the next week, this week Thanksgiving, maybe early December, we'll have another tax meeting. We'll bring in some people to talk to us about it and see if we could resolve the problems and then make moves for the future of either moving forward another RFP for a leader of our tourism, or leave it in. I think it's in great hands right now. We did have a meeting. The administrator and I and chairman of the board, and with Paul and Peter. Paul's now, back into being, he's in charge right now. All decisions will go through him. All questions will go through him. And Peter is second in command of the tourism department. And I will still maintain as much as I can, working with these two gentlemen and the people downstairs until we could come up with another solution. Yes.
Thank you, Chairman, for allowing me another opportunity. I wasn't thinking about the tourism department director just yet. I was still talking about the CVB contract and whether or not we wanted to try to rescind that through the committee up to the full Board of Supervisors and have a resolution to that effect.
That's why we'll have a meeting early next month that this board can make the decision, and it'll go to the full board before the end of the month.
For the new
And
year.
it could be decided. We can't do all this stuff today.
No.
I mean, I've gotten lots of calls. I've gotten calls from reporters and everybody, supervisors and stuff, and I'm holding on to following the rules of what the acting administrators say to do, and the attorney.
Well, just on the director position, I assumed that we would be putting out the posting again.
Well-
Is that not what's happening?
We have to write it up, maybe come up with better solutions of what we had last time. We had so many people complaining about the first one, and the gentleman was delayed 3 months. Maybe it might have helped if we had him right away. I don't know. And now we got a bunch of people want to know why he left when they didn't want him here in the first place because we did it wrong. So it's very confusing. And I don't want to move into anything until we get this settled, and then we'll decide on an RFP. We'll work with Julie and the attorney and the administrator to get the wording right and move out. We don't need to do it today.
I disagree with that,
I
but I
see
guess
a
I'm
hand
only
right
one
there.
person.
Yes, Ms. Seaver.
Thank you. Do you mind extending privilege of the floor for a second on this topic?
Sure.
Thank you. Chairman, thank you for giving me an opportunity and privilege of the floor to just address this topic quickly. I have two specific questions. One, there were some recommendations that the outgoing director had made that I know if he was still here, you had, of course, told him to bring it, share it with your committee. let's have that discussion. Is that a document that could be provided? Because from what I gathered from our informal conversation, it could be really helpful in looking at the overall perspective of tourism and how we proceed with the position itself.
I discussed a little bit of that with him, and he was supposed to make a formal document to come to our next tourism meeting, but we never got around to making a formal, him and I, make a formal document.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought a document was,
We have word and talk, but not physical document, basically,
For that.
for the reorganization. That's what
Right.
we're looking at.
so is that a document that you can send to supervisors so that we can make have an informed dialogue? You all hired, while I completely was frustrated with the process, of course, and I've shared my concerns. My frustration still lies in just, we hired an expert that this board determined by the majority vote was an expert. You brought him in, he made some recommendations, but it wasn't conveyed with the full board, and many of us were caught off guard by his sudden departure. All I'm asking to do is try to do my part in making it better and the process more transparent. So if there were recommendations, and it sounds like there were, and many supervisors have seen them or some, I'm just asking to also be privy to that information. And at the same point in time, just thinking here today, I applaud you, Chairman, for wanting to have another meeting prior to the holiday, and so that we can talk about these contracts in December before the new year. But recognizing that, I would also like to see if we could get that salary study updated. I know that was something that we talked quite a bit about, was the salary of this position. Can we please have those documents ready for your next committee
Well,
meeting as well?
we'll get it's just this week, we'll have to look, that's what I'm saying. We have to get with Julie, we have to get with the attorneys to come back with salary ideas, and this, we'll try to present them at the next tourism meeting if it's not too short.
Well, whenever the
We're
supervisor.
gonna try to do it, Ms. Ebert. We're gonna try to do it. We just can't come out and, this is a problem to me too, because I work very hard with him.
Sure.
And I spent a lot of time with him, and I'm disappointed that I didn't know.
Right.
I knew a little bit of his complaints, but I didn't know that he's gonna walk away from us without coming here and just giving us a 2-week notice, should have been done, and we could ask questions and find out why, or an exiting report maybe. So this is new to all of us, including me.
I'm sure you're very frustrated, and I
very
hear that, and I don't want to add to that frustration. I know we had a salary study done before. I just figured it wouldn't take too long to update it. That's the only reason I brought
That's
that up.
down the line. That's something that before we put out for an RFP, we're gonna have to have all that stuff done.
All right, well, at your convenience, I would love to see those recommendations, and then that way be able to come to the table with some information that others have. But thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Bramer.
You've mentioned a couple times an RFP. Are you talking about an RFP for tourism services, or are we
New
talking about
director.
posting the job for the director?
New director, yes.
Okay,
That's what I'm talking about.
okay.
But that's a little bit down the road. We're not gonna jump into anything. We've gone this far. And I think Paul and Peter can do a good job. In fact, they'll give you a little information on what we've been doing now for the last couple of months in a few minutes, but this is open to the public, so I just wanna, yes, sir.
My name's Bob Dillon. You might remember me. I introduced myself prior to the meeting where you hired Mr. Snow. I had very serious concerns about the process. Turns out he was really great, from what I understand. I'm very concerned about what's happened here. I agree with Rachel and Claudia. And just so you know, I plan to foil.
Thank you, sir. All right, I'm just gonna go back and Paul, do you want to give a little report? I didn't have it here and I overlooked you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem at all. Everything's pretty much business as usual with us. We've kind of been doing this for years anyway, so we're kind of the core of the tourism department. So if you have any questions, you know where we're at. Yes, ma'am.
I'm concerned about the university games money. How are we getting that organized? I know that Mr. Snow did meet with them, and I was happy about that. And although I had concerns about the whole process, I was giving Mr. Snow the benefit of the doubt, and it did seem like he was doing a good job to get on the ground running.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things.
No,
What's happening with
I've been kind of pouring over some of that stuff, but I just talked with Lori this morning from University Games. So as soon as we get, I need a decision maker to let me proceed further. So I I had a call with her this morning, so we're hoping to get something rolling within the next couple of days. Get
Great.
that money to them and
Great.
get something signed,
Okay, thank you. Can I see another hand? Yes. Ms.
Just one more, and it doesn't have to be an answer now, but Ag Workshop, we approved their contract. I had concerns about that and they didn't come the last meeting and understand that there was a snafu about the Zoom thing. Let's get them here. Let's have them come.
Yeah, I mean, they're here a lot, but I'll.
They're not here today, right?
I mean,
It's
Yeah,
hard
I'm
for, I
sorry.
don't, oh, sorry.
Maybe we can get them down here at that that next tourism meeting and give you an explanation on what they're doing.
Great. Thank you, Chairman.
They were on YouTube or Zoom, whatever you call it, and for some reason they didn't click. We weren't doing it, so. All right, anything else? Peter, you're next.
Yeah, so just business as usual. There's plenty of things for us to be working on. The girls downstairs are working on acquiring assets and writing stories, so holiday lights, igloo dining and ice bars. Those were hot topics last year, and we'd like to continue to work on those this year. Social media posts on the daily go out, well responded, well received. A lot of events are coming online, so we're working on our website with that stuff. Winter website conversion, getting content up there. There is a lingering project with regards to the website that we were kind of in the middle of, the director and I thought it did have a lot of legs on it, a lot of merit to it. It solved a lot of solutions, both internally for our website management for staff, as well as had a lot of opportunity to work with the stakeholders and provide a lot more robust features for those hotels and event organizers. So I would like to carry the torch on that. That was Al Snow had some good ideas, and after I sat through some of these Zoom meetings, I'm completely sold. So I'd like to continue to research that and then bring it forward to maybe the committee at a next meeting, and move forward with a better prepared document. But there's plenty of stuff going on. And now we will be facilitating the winter games as best we can. We are, disclosures is, late to the game for us to be joining. It was mostly handled by Al particularly, so we'll jump in and do the best we can with it though.
Mr. Luciano, I do not care if you would like to make a comment. I know you met with Al on what Peter's talking about changing our website. You give us, do you agree with it or think it should be done that way? And I'd like to hear your opinion.
So my opinions. So my opinions. Hate to see contentious in this room. Tourism is very important to us. From the business sector, we have all the confidence in Paul, his team, and the tourism department. Fort William Henry is spending $5 million this year, and that's our confidence in all of them. Peter, I guess I'd like to echo Laura's remarks. It'd be great if the business community could work side by side with you. There is a lot of skill set in the business community. We got good ideas. You all have good ideas. The webpage, Peter, is spot on. I was part of the vetting process for Al. Sorry to see him leave. He truly was a professional, and I'm sure that document that I have not seen has got a lot of great ideas. If the business community could come with the tourism committee and take a look at that list, let's execute some of those ideas. Let's move tourism ahead. It doesn't have to be a contentious thing. It can be very positive movement for all of us. That's all the comments I have, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
I 100% agree that the business community should be involved here. As the former chief operating officer of Ad Workshop at a time when Kate Johnson was the head of your tourism, I ran the largest advertising agency in the Adirondack Park. I have a lot of experience. Jesse Jackson and I both worked at A&E Television Network some years ago. It's time for a little bit of oversight here. And Pete, good luck, because I think you're doing a good job.
All right, thank you for the comments. Anyone else before we, Mr. Stroud?
I just want to thank Bill, Lisa, Peter, stepping up to, and the business community, which willing to do that, stepping up to the plate to help us move this forward. And so just to thank you.
Thank you for that. Everybody's done a great job downstairs, working hard on keeping it going without letting it fail. Yes,
Mr. Chairman, how do we go about getting the business community involved? Is that something we can do? Is it gonna be informal? Is it gonna be more formalized? Do you have any thoughts?
Well, we've tried for a few years and we did it 4, 5, 6 years ago and it got. Sometimes they came, sometimes they didn't, sometimes we came, sometimes we didn't, and it kind of went off to the wayside. We tried to bring it up a couple of times, but I think it's something that's got to be sit down with this board. And make sure that we can move in the right direction. That's all my comments. But I think I work well with that business community and it's tough because you got to wear 2 different hats on one day and another hat on another day. I get myself in enough trouble. I try not to get in any more trouble. Thank you. All right, anything else? Yes, sir.
Going public comment?
I was already down in that. That's why the public got up. Go ahead. McGowan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do sit on the Oxford tax, so I'm up next. But I do want to stand up here and I want to thank everybody in our tourism department and what they have done. We've definitely taken a little bit of a side hit here with a quick recognition, but also with the CVB. I remember when we started with the CVB and giving them money, and every year it's gone up. And I remember really one supervisor really coming out and saying, I'd like to see the return on that money. And I believe there is a report out there or an understanding more of the return on the money. But I'm very impressed with the business community here and these professionals that are out there and they see it. I mean, they're in it every day with the great ideas. And I'd like to see maybe, we look into that even if it's a special committee or what, before we put all this money back into the CVB. Nothing against them, but the numbers that I have seen that have come back for the amount of money that we give them, I think our business community would stand up stronger. So I really urge that if this is direction that we want to go, we should do that, and we should do it as a group. Because a little, sometimes the business owners actually have a little bit different insight than just pushing out for the advertising and stuff like that. So I hope we can all look into that, and I hope that's understandable to everybody. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. McCown. All right, last chance. Anybody else? All right, then we'll have a motion to adjourn the tourism committee meeting. So further notice. Got a second, and that by Mr. Wild and Mr. Stroud made the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. We're adjourned.